Welcome to Chengdu, China, home of the giant pandas, home of 14 million people, and now home of the 2018 UCI Urban Cycling World Championships. My name is Daryl Now, a lifetime BMX rider from Brooklyn, New York, and I am joined in the booth by our BMX sport analyst who is going to be breaking everything down, Steve McCann. Steve, welcome to Chengdu.
Thank you, Daryl, and I'm excited to be here. We have one amazing event on hand for today, don't we?
Yeah, this is going to be a battle of BMX, but in general, the UCI Cycling World Championships are 3 events: Trials, Mountain Bike Eliminator, and the UCI BMX Freestyle Park World Championships, all nestled in beautiful Chengdu, China, as we take a look at some of the scenic offerings that this gorgeous city has to offer. Rich in culture, rich in history, and now rich in action sports as we push towards the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo. That is right, BMX Freestyle is going to be ushered in for the first time into Olympics. And what better backscape and footprint to have than be in Chengdu, China? Take a look at the gorgeous scenery as we are here in Xinhua Park.
Yeah, Daryl, you're right. And I know that all of these athletes out here today are excited to be here going forward.
Well, Steve, let's jump right into it. Let's take a look at our battlefield at our UCI BMX Freestyle Park World Championship.
Yeah, and what a course we have here today, Daryl. We have, we're looking at here the spine ramp leading into the box jump. We have the hips. We have all kinds of obstacles that these athletes are going to really be out there showing their stuff, showing the progression of the sport and everything they're trying to do.
Well, we're talking about the women. That's right. Women's freestyle has been on the rise over the last few years, and we are definitely pushing the sport forward. We had over 38 competitors out here in our qualifiers and then 24 in our semifinals. Let's take a look at some of the highlights to see which women will be riding in today's finals.
Yeah, and these girls out here today are doing an amazing job of just using all the features on the course and making BMX look amazing. And women out there should be proud of all these girls. They're putting their bodies on the line every step of the way. They're seeing a no-hander over the box jump right here. And, you know, just in general, BMX is making huge strides towards the 2020 Olympics, and these girls are making their countries proud.
Yeah, Steve, that's a really good point to bring up. Women's BMX freestyle, we are watching in real time the progression of the sport. Again, these are the semi-finalists. Our top riders, we see Elizaveta Posadsky from Russia out there. She rode awesome yesterday. Here's a look at Caroline Buchanan. If you know her name from anything having to do with 2 wheels, that's because she is a world champion in many disciplines. But you can just see in general the style out here, our women blasting big airs. That was Teresa Azcárraga. We will be mentioning all the riders out here, but just in a broad brushstroke, the thing to know on our park course, which we saw the rendering of, our riders are going to be out there working at 2 runs. It's going to be a best run format. So they're going to have 2 runs of up to 60 seconds, and they're going to have an opportunity to really work and utilize the course trying to break it down. Now, Steve, I want to ask you, as being a rider yourself, what are some of the main things that judges are going to be looking for?
They're going to be looking for so many things out here. Originality, style, use of the course, the tricks that they're going to do. You know, you want to make sure you're doing the biggest thing so the difficulty level is high, and making it look good. You know, that is always essential. Yeah,
looking good is important. Style. Let's take a look at our start list. These are going to be in reverse order from which they qualified. We have Beatriz Ibanez Perez, Macarena Perez, Caroline Buchanan, Nina Duago, Minato Oiki, Elizaveta Posadsky, Angie Marino, and Nikita Dugaros. And our top 4 qualifiers, Teresa Azcárraga, Lara Lessman, your defending champion from last year, Hannah Roberts, and your #1 qualifier, Paris Benenguez.
Yeah, and I think it's important to mention right here that Caroline is out with an injury right now, which is really sad. She's coming in. This is only her 2nd event in BMX Freestyle, but we wish her well, and we hope that the x-rays come back clean and she can get back to us soon.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Just before we got going, Caroline did have an injury. There's a potential chance that we might see her in it. My fingers are going to be crossed, but we'll see as we develop. But hopefully her injury isn't too bad. But right there, you see a look at our stands. Very exciting, the fact that we're here for the 2nd time in China, because the fact that freestyle is so new to this culture here, and the energy from our fans getting a chance to really be exposed. But we just read the list. How about we get ready now to meet our riders? So we've got all of our athletes lined up, and we are going to welcome them out to the course. You can see our first rider from Spain. This is a Beatriz Ibanez Perez. As mentioned, she qualified in 12th and earned her spot into this finals.
Yeah, she did a great job yesterday, Daryl, in qualifying and in the semifinals, and I'm excited to see what she brings new to the table for the finals. And you know, I think that I think she's going to do a great job.
Yeah, this is such an exciting moment right here. Not only did a rider make it to the finals, which is a huge accomplishment in any contest, but the fact that you are representing your country is so exciting.
Yeah, the country element and the girls representing their countries right now, they're all wearing their jerseys. You have Nina right here dropping in, and sorry.
So our second
Macarena
rider coming in is Macarena Perez, who's rolling in, doing it for Chile, and she is going to be representing her country. Now we're talking about Nina Buitrago rolling in. It says Caroline Buchanan on the screen. Unfortunately, she is injured, but that is USA's Nina Buitrago. So our next rider, this is the pride of Japan right here, Minato Oeki, throwing up the peace sign as she cruises out onto the course.
And she has some big tricks, Daryl, and I think today she's going to shine. It's going to be fun to watch her.
Our next rider hailing from Russia, not only is she an artist on the bike, but off the bike as well. Elizaveta Posadsky is a very talented tattoo artist as she rolls onto our UCI centerpiece box jump. Well, one of the most smooth riders out there for the women, we're talking about USA's Angie Marino.
Yeah, and she had some very unique lines yesterday in qualifying the semis, and it's going to be got a work cut out for her to try and make it to the top step, but I think everyone's hopeful.
Well, our next rider, currently living in the United States, but representing Swiss very proudly. This is a rider who's got the 540 under her belt. We're talking about Nikita Ducaro.
Yeah, she put some big runs together yesterday too, and she's doing it proud out there for Mongoose, one of my old sponsors, and we're excited to watch her.
Well, another Spanish rider known for that Spanish style. We're talking about Teresa Azcuaga rolling out on the course. Look for big airs, fast lines, and just overall great style. Well, right now, a name that's exploded onto the scene this year. We're talking about the first gold medalist at the Youth Olympic Games, Lara Lessman, doing it for Germany. And Lara's been riding fantastically this weekend.
Yeah, she was, finishing number 2 in the World Cup season for the UCI. And here's her rival here, Hannah Roberts. Hannah has been a dominator all year long, Team USA, and you know she's got the weight on her shoulders. She's last year's world champion, and you know this weekend's going to be a telling. Can she hold up? Can she be the repeat world champion, Daryl? Yeah,
that's going to be the big story. But in qualifying and semifinals, the big story was USA's Paris Benenguez with a top qualifying run. That is why she is going to be the last rider to go. An important thing to note is that we do them in reverse order so that it's a little bit part of strategy out there. A rider has an opportunity to watch what the other riders do on the course, and they're going to have a choice to then say, how much do I want to play that risk-reward factor out there? So there are going to be our 12 finalist women. As we mentioned, Steve, this is a 2-run format. The riders are going to be broken down into 3 separate heats of 4 riders apiece. It doesn't matter if you're in the first heat or the last heat, you're going to be competing against your other rider out on the park. It is a best run format that counts. It's a little different this year than last year, and that is so important to note because it gives the riders a little bit more freedom. If they get a good run in, they could wind up trying to push it a little bit harder to up their score. Or if they wind up messing up in one run, it doesn't throw away their chances.
Yeah, no, you're right, Daryl. I think risk is the key word here. People are going to be taking risks to make it to the top of the podium, to put their countries on top of that podium and collect the yellow jersey. That's a big deal. That's the UCI's famous, that's what they're known for, is the yellow jersey.
Yeah, and all different cycling disciplines, it's the most coveted thing that you could actually win as far as a trophy, award, or just showing your overall skills. Logan Martin is our 2017 for men's, and Hannah Roberts was our 2017 for women's. We're going to see if Hannah Roberts could wind up holding on as we get our first rider into position. This is Beatriz Ibanez Perez, who is getting ready with 60 seconds on the clock. Now, Steve, as a competitor yourself, 8 times X Games medalist, what is going through the psychology of a rider right before a big event like this?
Yeah, I think all these girls out here, they're pretty, they're used to this by now. There's a lot of stress that goes into this stuff, but they just know they have to take it one step at a time and get things going. So we're going to watch her just drop in right now. Patrice, as she goes up the quarter pipe, getting speed, ready to hit the spine, and she goes down here into the money booter. The big no-foot can-can one-footer, and then she's going to keep this going right now, Daryl.
Wow, so hitting up that big box jump feature. Now, a rider can choose to... Oh! Yeah, wow, that is unfortunate. So now if a rider winds up crashing, how does that work in terms of their 60 seconds?
Yeah, so I think the girls in the previous year, like it was 2 runs combined. But right now she's going to kind of mentally get reset and go around the course and make sure she's just, the things that she was going to do are working, because you don't want to like end on a crash. I'd rather, whenever I would crash on a course, I would get back up, get out there, make sure things are still working, make sure my bike's okay, and mentally I'm prepared to go into my next run.
Yeah, so if a rider unfortunately goes down, whether it's taking a foot off or a full crash, they don't have to stop their run. The clock will still continue. It's their discretion to get up, but it will heavily impact the scores.
And another thing to note too here, Daryl, is that if by the off chance it comes down to a score that draws, that particular, her finishing off her run may come into play on the, if both riders have a crash and then they have a drawed score.
Well, let's take a look at some highlights there. There was a no-footed can-can. You saw her kick both of the feet over the top tube of the bike, had a little difficulty of the landing, and there's a look at a fast plant putting down her inward foot, putting the bike up, and then a nice nose bonk, getting that 180 and then rotating around. So, Steve, the scores are going to be based from 1 to 100 scale points, and we're going to wind up seeing where our 5 judges are going to wind up seating our rider. Now, our 5 judges, we have Marcus Wilke from Germany, Brian Kaczynski from the United States, Bibi Romilad Noro from France, Luka Kovic from Slovenia, Christy Hughes from the UK, our head judge is Dave Cleworth, and our technical delegate is Bart de Jong. So one rider we have down, and now, Steve, this is our second rider coming in, Macarena Perez from Chile.
Yeah, and she's, I can tell she's excited, and as she drops into the ramp right here, gaining a little bit of speed, dropping down towards the box jump. She's going to transfer across with the big old school no-hander, hitting the 10-foot quarter, the tail whip. Oh my God, that's amazing.
That was a big trick right there, the tail whip on a huge quarter pipe that's almost an 11-foot tall quarter. Macarena Perez lives in Santiago, Chile. Parque de los Reyes is where she calls home. You could actually see the park from her bedroom, which she grew up in, where she honed in her skills, and now she's on the world stage blasting across that channel gap.
And she's putting it together right now, Darryl, with a massive tabletop, as you can see right there on the hip, hitting the berms in the ball corner, and as she comes back with speed, hitting a toboggan over the box jump.
Yeah, speed is definitely key, 360 on. So this course is designed specifically for this event. The judges want to see a rider's unique approach out here. That means that their own voice that they have on the course as far as the lines that they find, and that was a great look back. We got 3 seconds to go. Let's see how she's able to put a bookend up. And Macarena Perez is just going to show her appreciation for the crowd here in Chengdu as our thousands of fans pour into Xinhuan Park.
Yeah, that was a great run, and I think it's probably going to score well on the board. She had the tail whip in there, the no-hander, the toboggans, and she flowed the course really well.
Let's take a look. The toboggan over that spine, that was a big feature on the park. 6 feet on one side with an 11-foot landing. It brings you in with so much speed. As you see, she grabs the seat, perfect execution of twisting the handlebars, and then comes into the box jump very fast. Now, that tabletop on the hip was such good height. And Steve, how important is that for the height factor for a rider out there?
Yeah, I think that one of the ways for the girls to separate themselves from the other ladies is to, with height. You know, and she definitely did that there on the hip with the tabletop. And, you know, moving forward, we'll just have to see how she scores. She scores pretty well, the 76.60 for her first run, and I know she'll be looking to improve.
Yeah, so she's going to have that 76. That's the first score. Obviously, she will be sitting in first place. Our first rider, Beatriz Ibanez Perez, got a 32, I believe, which will be the lower of the two scores. So we're going to start to see a full picture, though, as we wind up working through all of our riders. So our next rider rolling in, this is a pioneer in women's BMX freestyle, originally from New York, currently living in Austin, Texas. This is Nina Buitrago on the sub box with the double peg stall. Steve, that was a huge trick right there.
Yeah, you're not going to see many girls hit the hitching post right there, and as she double pegs it, she's actually probably the only girl that will hit it this weekend. As she heads toward the money booter with a big tuck over the box, hitting the wall ride, and she's going back up.
That was
back up towards the spine.
A great transfer on the wall. You actually saw her utilize the entire wall and came off that larger quarter pipe. One-handed double peg stall. Nina looks very confident with the pegs, and for good reason. She was actually one of the first female riders to grind. Yes! Opposite wall ride. That was huge. She was one of the first riders, though, female riders to ever start doing handrails, where she would grind with her pegs down rails on street and in parks. So it's great seeing Nina that all these years later is still keeping the progress as she has 3 seconds to go, looking to put a nice end cap here on her run. Charging, and a good channel gap, going the distance right there. That was a full run from Nina Buitrago.
Yeah, going quarter to quarter right there to finish it off, and she left an imprint in the judges' minds. She pulled everything. She didn't put any feet down, so hopefully it'll score well. And then, you know, I think run one is always to get it set, get a score on the board, give the judges something to think about, and then you'll see a lot of these girls really up it in their second run. But hitting the hitching post with the double peg, as I said, she'll probably be the only girl to do that this weekend.
Yeah, let's take a look. This is huge. That is a 7-foot tall quarter pipe. 7 feet, that's almost 2 meters tall, and that sub box and that sub rail is actually about 4 feet tall, so over a meter. That is a big feature. Most riders have trouble even jumping up there. Nina showing how controlled and consistent she is out there.
Yeah, and here you have her with the one-handed double peg stall. The wall ride right here going the opposite direction to finish.
Yeah, that's huge. Right, I mean, Steve, as a rider yourself, is it a lot more difficult to do opposite direction from regular?
Yeah, going both ways is something that not a lot of people can do. Some people can do some of their tricks opposite, but not the full bag that they have, which, you know, if you have a rider that can 360 both ways, 720 both ways, you know, backflip and front flip, I guess that's forward and backwards, right? But it's kind of, you've got the whole package, and you can separate yourself from many of the other people.
Seeing Nina right there throwing a little love back to Texas and Empire BMX, one of her sponsors.
With the score of 71 right there. So she's going to move into second place, if I'm not mistaken, right?
So Nina getting her score in as we go back to the top right now. Nina sitting in second with the 71. The score to beat, though, is a 76.6, held on by Macarena Perez, as now we have Beatriz Ibanez Perez rolling in for run 2 of 2. No foot can-can, sticking it clean on that big box jump.
It was way better than her last execution of that trick, as she heads towards the hips right now with the can-can, and then she's going back over the box jump. Let's see what she's got right here, Dal, as she sets back up to drop back into the main part of the course.
So, Steve, we see all of our riders starting on different parts of the course. How much of that, as far as a rider's choice, right? They have a selection. They might say, hey, I want to set up in a certain point to kind of have a different run or feel out there.
Yeah.
Why would they choose one point over another?
As she does a one-footed X up over the box jump right here to get towards the end part of her run. I think, Daryl, like most of the girls, one-footed fast plant on the wall. She's on fire right now, Daryl. I think most of the girls start their runs like where it fits them most, with a little fast plant on the spine right there. You know, it comes down to what works best for you. The riders always like start their runs off trying to make a bang, you know, to get the judges like kind of thinking about like how good their run is, and then they try and, you know, put another big trick in the middle and finish it off so that you always leave the judges with something to think about. So here we see here with a no-foot can-can over the box.
So essentially, though, what you're saying is a rider wants to choose a vantage point to set themselves up for success in that 60 seconds. Depending on where their skill levels are on the course, what favors them. and to set up what we would call a line throughout the park.
As we watch here do the one-footed X up. Yeah, like always set yourself up for success. Use your strong points. As you see here, she does a fast plant on the spine. And you just have to make sure that you stay true to who you are. I've spoken with that with some of the riders recently about, like, you know, making sure you stay true to who you are on the course. Ride to your advantages. Don't ride to make scores.
So second score is going to be a 59.60. That is going to be a big improvement from her 32.60 of first run score. She is still going to be sitting in that third place position as we wind up moving through the list to Macarena Perez.
Yeah, and Macarena had a great first run, and you know, I'm excited to watch her right now. I think, you know, after watching her do that tail whip in the quarter pipe, I think she's probably got a lot more to add, and we're going to see her throw down right now.
So Macarena, our current leader with the 76.60. Let's see if she could wind up upping her score. Any rider, as far as getting the jitters out of your first run, if you got a solid one down, this time you could try to up the ante.
Yeah,
and Macarena Perez with the tail up a little higher and landing on the pedals.
Yeah, she does a massive toboggan on the hip leading up to the top part of the course right now. Coming into the spine. There you go, with a little toboggan as she comes down to the money booter. And another like toboggan right there. Oh. Daryl, you know, like sometimes that's the name of the game, right? Like you start to throw down and you get a little off point right there. As you see, she took a crash, but she's fine. She's up, and she waved to the crowd to let everyone know that she's okay.
Thankfully, Maka is all right. She had a little difficulty getting across that channel, hung up her back wheel. A lot of our riders out here are just cut from another cloth. Doesn't matter if they are male or female. Very tough indeed. You never want to see anyone go down, but if they do, when they're able to get back up and walk away. As we look at the extension of that no-hander, you see her just tuck the handlebars right into her lap, perfectly extending her hands out. But this was the crowning gem of her run, that tail whip at height.
Yeah, she did a great job right there as we watched her do the toboggan over the hip. Yeah, she's definitely like improving every time I watch her. This is the case to crash, but you know, just the height that she's doing things at, and the way that she's been improving at every contest throughout the year. Like, she should be proud, and you know, I'm excited to see her in the future.
So her second score is going to be the throwaway. That's a 41.80. She is still going to be sitting in that top spot with the 76.60.
Yeah, Chile has one amazing rider right there as we move on to the next girl.
We are going to unfortunately be skipping over Caroline Buchanan. She just had an injury right before the competition started. We are sending her her best. I hope that she's doing okay. And right now we have Nina Buitrago coming in for her second run.
Yeah, so Nina had a full pull, so we're going to see her try and up the ante right here. She hits the hitching post. Oh my God, Dal.
Yes.
So good.
Consistent out there with one of the hardest tricks we've seen in the contest throughout the course of our qualifying and semis. That was a double peg on the hitching post as Nina comes in and blasts over the box jump with the toboggan. That's grabbing the seat, twisting the bars, and again, that great transfer into the wall ride.
Yeah, as she comes back up to the top part of the course, heading back down with the one-handed double peg stall. She hits the spine right now. She's transferring across.
Nina right now charging towards the wall, and there's the opposite wall again. Consistency, the name of the game for Nina Buitrago.
Yeah, she's really nailing it right now, Daryl, and making a great impression out there for the judges.
So Nina with the final moments here. Let's see how she's going to wrap things up. A little bit different than her first run. Throws in that double peg grind. And a one-handed tabletop at the buzzer. All right, Nina.
Yeah, she did an amazing run just then, and that's 2 full pulls for her, if I'm not mistaken.
So, Steve, I want to ask you this. Ryder has 2 runs. We already determined that best run counts, so it's going to be their best effort out there. If you're a rider, which you've competed in many competitions, and you get your first run done, and you do what you want to do, what's the psychology going to the second run like we're seeing in Nina?
Yeah, I think like riders have dream runs that are always in the back of their mind. They always have a run that they feel that they'd be happy with if they walked away, and then you have that dream run where all the tricks that you don't usually link together, you make the links harder. So like the back-to-back tricks, and that's pretty much the name of the game. Like, you want to leave the judges thinking about the fact that you linked every single obstacle with a trick. If you do that, you should score well.
So what you're saying is if you basically get your first run down, you might increase the level of difficulty on your next run tricks to try to up that score.
Definitely.
So Nina Buitrago did just that, a great second run. As we wait for the judges, you can see our judges all up there from left to right: Christy Hughes, Brian Kaczynski, Luka Kovic, Marcus Vilke, and Romulad Noro, aka BB. Those are our 5 judges up there giving all the riders their scores. But big ups to all of our riders at heat number 1. You can see a 74.20 from Nina, so that's not going to be enough to push her up into that top spot. She will be sitting in second. So after our first heat, it's going to be Macarena Perez, Nina Buitrago, Beatrice Ibanez Perez, and unfortunately Caroline Buchanan is out with that hand injury.
Yeah, but I think Nina should be happy with that. She upped it compared to her second run, that's
so
for sure.
right now we can see exactly what you said. Nina's second run was the score that stuck, so a 76.20 is going to be the score to beat. As we take a look at our UCI battlefield out here for our riders to wind up taking the second heat. Let's meet the riders of heat number 2. Minato Oiki from Japan. We then have from Russia, Elizaveta Posadsky. From the United States, Angie Marino. And then representing Swiss, Nikita Dukaro.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty stacked group right here, Daryl, and I think we're going to see the riding level change a little bit as the stakes get higher, and these girls are looking to make a serious statement.
Yeah, I mean, the statement has been progression in women's BMX freestyle. We have been seeing it in real time throughout our UCI World Cup championships that have toured around the world, where our women just keep pushing forward and progressing the sport. If you're watching at home and you'd like to get involved, it's super simple. Just log on to uci.org, where you can find out how to become a member. You can find out where competitions are around the world and how you can get involved. But right now, our first rider of heat number 2 is from Japan, Minato Oiki.
All right, so as Minato drops in right now, hitting the spine, the big turn down right there. She heads towards the money Buddha with a massive no-hander. She's on fire right now, Daryl.
Massive is definitely the word. She had the height, she had the style, and the full extension on that no-hander.
Yeah, she goes around the ball corners with speed right now. Does a back. Oh! That one's going to sting a little, Daryl, but she's okay. She's up, throws her hands in the air to let everyone know she's okay. But she was really putting the screws down just then, wasn't she? She had a great run going, and I'm sure we'll see the Japan rider out for her next run and throwing down once again.
Yeah, hopefully she'll be able to get back out on the course. Had a hard crash to her tailbone there. You can see part of her Japanese BMX support team out there.
Yeah.
So our riders are representing their countries. It's up to the specific country to determine how much they back the BMX program. But right now, Minato with that big turn down over the box, twisting her body sideways, setting up for the speed for that big no-hander.
Yeah, she was in fine form right here as we see her hitting the box jump with the no-hander there, really extending her arms and making a statement that she's...
Now, Steve, what happened here on the backflip?
Yeah, she was going pretty fast as she went around the ball corner. So I think she just came in with too much speed, and she yanked a little too hard, kind of over-rotating. But, you know, usually, like most of the riders, they'd catch their back wheel on the deck, which would drop their front end in. Unfortunately, she had a lot of speed and over-cleared the whole thing, so the momentum kept going as she came around.
I think that speed was definitely the factor where we saw in her semifinals, specifically in the highlight reel before we started, she was actually landing a little bit back wheel heavy on the deck, flying around that bowl corner, came in a little bit more distance, and then wound up flying past there.
So she has a 37 right now, and we know that she'll be looking to improve. That score does not reflect her talent level right now. Let's moving on to the next girl, who has Elizaveta, and she is about to throw down for us right now, Daryl.
Yeah, Elizaveta is such a talented rider. We talk about her being an artist off the bike as one of the very talented tattoo artists, but on the bike, the same style and flow goes as she drops in for her 60 seconds on her second.
A bar spin to X up right there, straight into an old school no-hander over the box jump, the money Buddha, into an X up in the 10-foot quarter as she heads across towards the hips right here with a one-hander.
Yeah, so this is the second heat, first run out here. Elizaveta, Russia, BMX. Bar spin, yes!
Big bar spin right there, Daryl. She's doing a great job right now. The X up over the hip, headed back towards the top portion of the course right now.
Transferring up to the elevated portion as she goes with a bar spin on the quarter pipe. So similar trick, but different obstacle.
And she's doing exactly what I was talking about. She's ticking off every obstacle. She's doing a trick as she X-ups over the box jump right now.
And you see her adjust the back wheel almost like a tire slide to gauge her speed as she went into that quarter pipe, but still blasted at a lot of height. And that is going to be time for the 60 seconds with a bar spin after the buzzer. Now,
yeah.
Steve, I want to ask you, we have 60 seconds on the clock. How does that work as far as a rider at the end of the time goes for counting with the judges?
Yeah, see, like, she did a really good job there of finishing with a trick, and she timed her run out perfectly. You know, sometimes you can see riders, they get a little lost out there on the course, but, you know, in this run that we're watching right now, like, she didn't get lost at all, and that's key to leaving an impression in the judges' minds.
So what you mean by that is the confidence throughout the 60 seconds, knowing exactly where you're going, you execute the tricks that you want, and that you utilize the clock. So when a rider would be lost, maybe they wouldn't be able to put together, they'd have a few dead walls and some dead moments out there.
Yeah, and your momentum changes in the run, and it's usually very noticeable, like, you know, linking obstacles together and, you know, ticking off the tricks as you go through your runs. You know, she did that very well, I thought.
Well, we're going to see. We both feel that way, but it's not up to us. It's up to those men and women right there, our judges, to determine a numeric value to her first run out on the course.
76 is the score to beat right now. I'm guessing she's going to be very close to that, right? As we're waiting right now for the scores to come in. And, oh, there you go. So 74.9. So she's pretty close. She's going to move into second place right now, as we kind of thought. It was a really good run.
So that means that she's going to bump back Nina Buitrago sitting in third, and Macarena Perez is still going to be holding strong with that 76.60. But right now, our next rider rolling in from the United States, Angie Marino.
Yeah, the USA pride right now as she drops in with a big old school no-hander over the box jump, straight into the quarter pipe with air. And you can see the difference in height that she's using. Jumping the box backwards right now.
Wow, that was a big line. Jumping the box backwards, the difficulty is increased because you're landing into the traditionally takeoff.
Yeah, she does a toboggan right there and an ET over the box jump. She's really putting it together with a big one-hander in the quarter pipe. She's flowing well right now, and you can see the US guys on the sidelines cheering her on as she heads up to the top part of the course right now.
So
what's she got
not
for
only
us?
doing the big tricks, but finding the unique lines out there, which is an important thing to do.
Yeah,
she talked about the judges want a rider to dissect the course with their own voice.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Daryl. She's doing an amazing job with the knack over the hip. She's showing variety, which is a great thing too. She's not doing the same tricks that she is over the box jump. Finish out her run with a little one-footer there over the hip, just to kind of say that she's here to stay and she's making a statement for everyone. Angie Moreno, what a great run that was.
Yeah, I mean, Angie definitely made a big statement with those airs on the quarter pipes. You talk about height, and as we wind up watching some highlights, you could just see on that quarter as she sets up with a lot of speed on that tire grab, and then on the box jump, big no-hander again, similar to Minato Oiki with the big wingspan stretch out, landing all the way down. But the thing that she had was the height on the quarter pipes and the fact she jumped the box jump backwards. You're landing the margin of error. There is that air we're talking about, well over the railing, and that was the one-handed version that she did. She's probably 5 or 6 feet out.
Yeah, as she does an X up here over the hip. But yeah, she did a great job, I thought, and you know, all the executions were done well, and you know, I think that's gonna rival the top 3 scores right now, I'm guessing, Daryl.
Yeah, we're seeing Jamie Staff out there, Team USA BMX, and Angie with an 83.20. We've got ourselves a new leader. The first rider in the 80s, bumping up there, almost 6 points ahead of Macarena Perez. Elizaveta Posadzki, Nina Buitrago, and Beatriz Ibanez Perez are going to be your top 5 riders. But right there, USA in the top with Angie Marino as we progress through heat number 2, looking to take her first run. This is Nikita Dukaro.
Yeah, the mongoose rider right here as she gets ready to drop in. Starting at the top portion of the course. She's hitting the hip first. The big toboggan into the next hip with an X-up 1-footer as she heads back up to the top portion of the course. The big tabletop.
Also representing Extreme Black & Decker, Tioga, and the Swiss cycling national team with those great combinations over the box jump straight into that one-handed tabletop air.
Yeah, she's doing a great job of utilizing the entire course right now, the little 270 on the hip. Air in the box jump backwards as she comes back towards the spine right now, Daryl. What's she got for us?
Let's see as she digs deep. Looking for that tuck, but still clearing right over the box jump. Yes, can on the large quarter pipe. That's over 10 feet tall, almost 11-foot tall quarter. That's basically riding a vert ramp. And a table, one-footed. Love the style out there, Steve.
Yeah, she's doing a great job right now. I'm always so excited to watch her ride as she cruises around the course, making it look easy. And just doing a great job for women and for the Swiss country.
Yeah, very cool. So we're seeing all of our riders representing their countries out there. The way that this works for the Olympics, not only you riding for yourself out there, but it's the bigger picture for your country. Again, all the details are on UCI.org, where you can find out all the specifics and breaking it down. But the big thing to note is that we started the Olympic qualifying process last weekend on November 1st, and we're going to be having the points going through May 11th, 2020. So riders are going to be competing for those valuable points out there. So Nikita Ducaro not only doing it for herself, but also for Switzerland, as she has that great one-footed X-up to can-can. Such smooth cadence with her foot kicking it one way, then the other. And Steve, I got to tell you, that's one of my favorite tricks of her entire run right there, that one-footed tabletop.
Yeah, she did a great job with the execution there as we watch her do the 270 on the hip. And air in the box backwards to finish it off. Yeah, I think she's got some room to improve right now, and she missed maybe one or two of her tricks, but all in all, she did an amazing run, and it's always exciting to watch her ride. Nikita.
Score coming in 77.30.
Yeah.
So up there pretty high, not in the 80s, but their top score is being held by Angie Marino, but she's going to proudly move into that second spot. But again, this is a best run format that counts, so we're not going to see the full picture. Actually, I'm going to say this, up until the last rider, anything can shuffle and change, and that it sometimes does. But right now, looking to take her second run, looking for better odds. This is from Japan. We've got our crowd here going crazy in Chengdu for Minato Oiki.
Yeah, Minato is, she had a great run in her first one. She looped out with that backflip, but she's got something to prove right now. She wants to make sure she sticks everything. As she hits the spine right now with a turn down, straight into the box jump, with a big straight air, hitting the 10-foot quarter, transferring across. She's got some speed right now, Daryl. Let's see if she goes for the backflip again.
Wow, coming in hot again. Backflip, yes!
There it is.
Sticking it clean. That's got to be a great feeling, getting the redemption out there.
Definitely, as she hits the hip there, over the box backwards, a little ET. She heads back towards the top portion of the course, coming down. Transferring across from the hitching post across to the box jump. The little table, tie grab, X up in the 10-foot quarter. She's doing a great job right now, Daryl.
Yes, wall ride, very clean. Both tires checking in with the wall as she pulls back into the quarter pipe. Got final moments. We're talking about 7 seconds. Coming back into the box. Let's see. Whoa!
Yeah, that was a tabletop. Oh, sorry, a tail whip right there. Unfortunately, she just didn't get her feet back on the pedals, but she did an amazing job showing the progression. And Japan has definitely got a contender coming into the future. She just needs to link a few more things together, like we saw her doing qualifying, and I think we'll see her up there in the top notches of the podium.
I got to give maximum respect to Minato, pushing her own progression, where we saw on the backflip and tail whip, clearing and going to clear the box jump as opposed to trying it on the larger box and just landing in the middle. Now, Steve, I want to ask you to break down what's the difference between doing a trick, let's say, as a fly out where you don't clear the obstacle, or as Minato going for it. She hung up a little bit, but that was a committed backflip, trying to clear the distance. Is the difficulty that much more increased?
Well, I think that comes into something with the judges to play on their minds a little bit for the execution. Clearing the box jump definitely scores better, and it shows that you had the speed to make it over the entire obstacle. But, you know, I don't think it's a huge deal for her to case just a little bit. She still kept her speed and was rolling along smoothly into the rest of her run.
Now, how about then as far as doing it? Look at that, a 62.40. So her score is going to be much better than her first. But as far as fitting in on that big picture there, Minato is going to be sitting 5th. She's not going to change her positioning. So Angie Marino, Nikita Ducro, Macarena Perez, Nina Buitrago are going to be your top 4 as we go back for her second run. This is Russia's Elizaveta Posadzki.
Yeah, and Eliza, I think, right now is about to up her entire run as she drops in here, headed towards the big quarter, lining up for the spine. Massive bar spin to slide X up. Hitting the box jump, the money booter as we like to call it, into the 10-foot quarter. She does a one-hander on the hip. Headed into the berm corners, gaining speed. She hits the box jump with a bar spin to X up right there.
There you go. That was the X up she was looking for over the spine. Representing KHE national team, Elizaveta, 25 seconds with the transfer onto the elevated part of the course, back into the spine. This time with the bar spin coming back at us.
Yeah, she's definitely putting it together right now, Daryl. As she hits the spine again, headed towards the box jump. This airing it out. I think she knows that her first run was a lot better than this one. And you could see it right from the very start. She was kind of shaking her head a little bit. But she's still putting it together as she hits the bowl corners as her run ends, just airing out the box jump.
Wow, so Elizaveta putting her second run down. Her first score was a 74.90. She'd love to up the ante and build up that number. Now, Steve, I want to ask you, we saw Elizaveta do several bar spins in her run, which are a very difficult trick as far as throwing the bars around, but she did them on different obstacles. We saw one that was on a box jump and also one that was on a quarter pipe. The box jump is where you're jumping forward, and the quarter pipe is where you're turning around. I want to ask you, though, here's the bar spin going over the spine, so actually 3 different obstacles. As far as doing a trick, does it feel different from a rider's perspective on the different obstacles?
Yeah, I think when you do it on the spine, you're going straight up and coming down. Usually the spine deck has about a half a foot or maybe only 6 inches like on the top of it. So you have to pull up, go straight up, and then come straight back down. It's a good perspective right there as we look on the replay. And then on the quarter pipe, when you do a bar spin, you're basically going straight up and coming back where you took off. So I think Eliza did a great job right there, ending up with a 74.9 for a high score, and she should be proud of that. I think she did a great job and brought into the next rider right now.
So we are going to keep the party rolling as we go back to our top points leader. We're talking about USA's Angie Marino running in for second choice out on the course, starting things off over the box, no-hander to toboggan. So we're seeing a little bit of strategy as she switches things up, but keeps consistent with the height on the quarter and jumping the box backwards.
Yeah, she's definitely putting it together right now, Dara. You can see a change from her first run as she comes around the berm corners, doing a toboggan over the box and into the box jump with the ET, keeping her flow and her height. Look at the height right there with the one-handed table in the quarter pipe, into the hips, the X up, and she's just flying around the course so beautifully right now. It's pretty rad to watch. Little one-hander up onto the top part of the course, ticking all the boxes, just putting down treks and gaining points as she goes. So she does a one-footer there in the 10-foot quarter. With 10 seconds left on the clock right now, what she got? Little tabletop in the quarter pipe right there. As she heads around the bowl corners, back towards the box jump with an X up. And that's going to be the end of her run as she ends it with hitting the hip. Straight towards the Team USA. And it is awesome, Daryl, to kind of watch this whole team thing start to unfold. You've got Team USA all standing on the sidelines to just congratulate her and just let her know that she did an awesome job. And that's something that as we move forward towards the Olympics, people will start to get more into, knowing that they have a team to support them the entire time.
Yeah, we actually see Ryan Nyquist down there, the BMX team coach for the women, who has been helping out with all of his experience. He is competing for the men's, but he's giving some of his years of experience and helping out riders as we have of Angie Marino, X up over the hip. I love the way that she stylishly turned into that X up. She almost used that to kick her back end out as she had the handlebar turn around and just get style. But again, the name of the game with Angie is the height on that quarter pipe. That's the thing that so far separated her from all the other riders, and at 87.80. So we're seeing her second run pay off huge as she winds up putting up 4 points higher. And you see Team USA, the camaraderie you're talking about, the love, the support.
It's definitely a time to celebrate right there. I knew that her score was going to be upped. I just wanted to wait and see. But with that 87 right there, I think she can sit back and relax, and then everyone has the pressure on them to perform. As we're watching, Nikita Dukaros about to drop in.
Currently sitting.
She's sitting in second right now. Oh, no. As she hits the
77.30, so Nikita looking to up her ante out on the park, charging up the elevated section tabletop, so consistent with the style on quarter pipes. As she comes in full speed. Yes, there you go. 2 for 2 on the 1 foot X to can-can, and a one-handed table at height, might we add, airing close to that UCI railing.
Yeah, she did that triple trick over the box jump. That's going to score well with the judges, and the 270 on the hip right there. She comes back down towards the spine, hitting the money Buddha. What she got for us, Darryl? A big old school no-hander. So she's actually improving from her first run. As we can see, she's linking all of her tricks together and continuing to do a great job. 270 on the hip right there, linking all the hips together, a little one-footed table right there.
Yeah, the Mongoose rider, a lot of good style. That one-footed tabletop, again, one of my favorites out here. Looks like she wants to go for something. What's it going to be?
Oh, 540 right there.
Wow, that was an enormous trick, going for the 540. So we heard the buzzer, but she was clearly approaching the obstacle when it went off. She went around, did not pull it all the way, but still, in order to roll away from a 540, that is such a hard trick. You have a big blind spot. Let's take a look at a few of her highlights in the run, but definitely the big cherry on top was that 540 on the end.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch the playbacks right here. We watch her do the toboggan over the hip with so much style right there. It's awesome to watch. 1 footed X up on the hip. And then into the quarter pipe right here with a little tabletop.
Now, Steve, I got to ask you about this 540 that we're about to see. How difficult is that trick, and how come we are not seeing any other female riders go for that?
I definitely think that some of the other girls are doing that trick, but, you know, that's one of Nikita's signatures right here as we watch her do the 540. Unfortunately, she tapped her foot down, so I don't know how that's going to play into the judges' minds. But, you know, Nikita is an absolute boss, and I love watching her ride, and I think the Switzerland is proud to have her on their team.
Well, the 540 is a real hard trick because you have a blind spot when you rotate around, as opposed to doing a traditional air where you go up and come back down. You wind up spinning and rotating around, and you can't see your landing. So her second run is going to be a 75.60. So it looks like her first score is going to stick with the 77.30. Now, even though Nikita had the 540 in her run, she did put a foot down. And our 5 judges want perfection out here. This is the road to the Olympics. This is our qualifying process has already started. So if a rider winds up putting their foot down, even though you have to balance that risk versus reward, that is potentially why her first score stuck. So let's take a look at our board. Not only are we seeing all the countries represented, but on top is the USA's Angie Marino with an 87.80, 10 points higher than Nikita Ducaro, followed by Macarena Perez, Elizaveta Posadzki, Nina Buitrago, Minato Oiki, Beatriz Ibanez Perez, and unfortunately Caroline Buchanan, who had a do not start.
Yeah, that was a very sad thing for Caroline. She ran into one of the girls on the course in practice, and unfortunately, she may have a broken hand. She's going in for X-ray. As we watch the backflip right here by Minoto, and a big old bar spin on the spine. Angie here with a little tie grab over the spine. And a big old air in the 10-foot quarter. Little 1-footer on the hip. Toboggan. The girls out here today were just doing an amazing job as we watched Nikita right there with the 1-footed X up to can-can, which is a huge trick, a triple triple combination as we watch her do the no-hander there as well. You know, I think the progression of sports for the girls, we're really watching just improvements. Every single contest we go to, the girls are getting more consistent, doing bigger tricks than they usually would, and they're starting to link things together, which is just so impressive to watch. And I know it makes me proud. I'm sure it makes you proud as a BMXer yourself, Daryl.
Yeah, it's very cool to see in real time. As we're taking a look at some of our athletes, you actually see Rim Nakamura. He was a men's competitor sitting in the stands. As we look at the progression of our top 4 semifinalists, they are going to be competing right now. Teresa Azcárraga, Lara Lessman, your defending champion, Hannah Roberts, and our #1 qualifier, Paris Benenguez. So the way that our riders are in reversed order, they almost have an advantage right now to see what the other scores of the riders are. So they're going to know how much to kind of play with that risk-reward factor to get in the top spot. But it's best run format counts, and anything can change up until the last rider takes the course.
As we watch Teresa come into the wall, gaining speed to hit the spine right now.
The thing to watch from the Spanish rider, speed, style, and big airs. Those are the 3 things that define her riding. Oh, hanging up, but thankfully able to keep cruising. You see her shake it off.
The execution and the height right now, Teresa, she's doing an amazing job. She heads around the bowl corner, airing out the box jump with the hip, using a different line, hitting towards the 10-foot quarter, just airing it out again. Gaining speed right now for the hip. Look at the air on that toboggan right there. She's definitely well above the deck, which is what the judges want to see.
Teresa spends a lot of time riding out at Eurocamp. Big shout out to Axel Jurgens and the Eurocamp family who's cheering on the Spanish rider as she does a toboggan, hanging up again. You see her wind up shaking her head, thankfully able to roll away. Can step through on the heat, and let's see if she can squeeze in one more. The buzzer is off. I don't believe that this will count, but that is going to be the first run from Teresa.
Yeah, great run. She flowed the course really well. High speed. Maybe she missed a couple of things here and there, but I think all in all it was a great run by Teresa. She sits here with her coach and her fellow teammates taking a drink of water. I wonder what she's thinking right now, Daryl. Do you think she's thinking that she's got room to improve, or she was really happy with how her run went down?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's hard to necessarily get in the mindset, but knowing Teresa, how style is always the name of her game, unfortunately hung up on those big quarter pipes. That's something we usually don't see out of Teresa, so she does have a lot of room to improve, and those quarter pipes can definitely be a big factor, as we see that Angie Marino was able to utilize that height to get the top spot currently with an 87.80. So we have a feeling that we're going to see in her second run, she's going to try to clean up those airs, land a lot smoother in there, and that's going to enable her to keep the speed flowing and utilize less energy in the 60 seconds.
Yeah, definitely. As we're waiting here for the scores right now, this will tell a story of what she's got to do to improve in her second run.
Teresa also riding for Fly Bikes. I know that her teammate Sergio Leos is cheering her on from home as she watches the score of a 67.50 come in. So it's not going to be enough to put her in the top 3 spots, but again, we'll have plenty of room to move up as she takes run #2.
Yeah, and I think that's what she'll be counting on, is her second run to make a huge improvement.
Well, our next run, the German sensation, she actually won a gold medal at the Buenos Aires Youth Olympic Games for Germany earlier this year. She's been battling it out with Hannah Roberts. Last year got second place, looking to be on top. This is Lara Lessman.
Yeah, and she's doing a great job right now as we watch her do the entire hip right there with the can-can, something that we haven't seen any of the girls do yet. She hits the box jump, is airing it out, coming towards the money booter. The big old X up clearing the box as she heads towards the wall ride of the one-footed fast plant.
Lara Lessman has been having a tremendous year as she has just been utilizing every single part of this course in semifinals and in qualifying. No foot can on the transfer, kicking both feet over, slipping a pedal, but able to keep it rolling with the momentum, and that is crucial as she jumps again from quarter to quarter.
Yeah, she heads around the ball corners right here, gaining speed. The big old C grab, towards the hip with a toboggan, and finishing it out with a turn down right there. I love the way that she connected the last portion of her run, but I think she kind of missed a few little things at the start of her run, and she knows it. So It might reflect in her score. I could be wrong. But I think that Lara will be looking to improve second run.
Yeah, well, Lara qualified in third place in our semifinal. We mentioned the battle going on. Last year came in second overall. Would love to be in that top spot. There's the bar spin. So smooth, clearing the gap across the channel. You saw that she did not hang up her back wheel at all. Here's a look at the can-can, putting her foot across. I'd like to point out how her leg was completely straight, and she also pulled her handlebars up for extra style points. Utilizing that same foot with the foot plant on the wall, pushing herself back into the transition, landing high to keep her momentum. And Steve, here's the no-footed can.
Yeah, the no-foot can as she finishes it off at the end of her run. Unfortunately, she slipped a pedal, but she didn't touch the ground, so hopefully the judges will catch that and they'll score it accordingly.
So how do you feel when a rider, you know, as far as putting a foot down or a crash, would you say it's a sliding scale as far as how many points are deducted?
Yeah, it's always tough. It's kind of a judge's discretion type of thing. You know, if it doesn't hit the ground, I would say that like you're still riding away. But like sometimes it's hard to keep your feet on the pedals. But if you don't touch the ground and your feet don't blow off, I would still count it as long as it was in control. But, you know, some people think about that differently.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of debate out there, especially in the internet world for BMX, even in video parts or anything else. But in a contest, you're being judged on a numeric value 1 to 100. Sometimes when it takes a moment for scores to come in, that means that the judges have a lot to discuss and figure. Because not only are they trying to find out where Lara's run is and what the numeric value is, but how does that fit compared to all the other riders out there?
Yeah, they have one of the toughest judges in the toughest jobs in the business right there, Daryl. They have to analyze, break down runs, and think about all the things that have happened previously before the rider goes at their scoring.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier that she won the first ever gold medal at the Buenos Aires Youth Olympic Games. That's because it's open to any rider that is 17 or 18 years old. And we actually had a tie for gold with Argentina and Germany. Lara was the female riding component of that. She got a first place, and her teammate, the male, Evan Brandes, got second. So that's why there was a tie, and they would wind up working together. So look at that. First score coming in 75.20. So that's going to put her in fourth place. Again, a lot of room to wind up moving up. She's going to have that space in her next run. But right now we're taking a look at Caroline Buchanan. She is waving, saying hello to everybody. Steve, unfortunately, you can see her hand.
Yeah, she's one of my fellow Aussies, and I love watching that girl ride, and she's got a huge future in anything she does. And you see Barry, her husband, standing beside her, recently married, and they are just the power couple, aren't they, in cycling. So moving on, we have Hannah Roberts. Now, Hannah is a defending champion. She's coming out with her first run right now. She's going to be looking to make a statement and let everyone know that she is here to win. As a world champion, you don't show up to get second place now, do you?
Not at all. And Hannah being cheered on by all the fans in Chengdu, especially her mom's here, and also her dad, Rick, at home, who is saying, "Go, Hannah, go," as she starts it out with a smooth bar spin across the box jump and an X up to bar spin. So difficult because you have to twist the handlebars first and make sure you have the time and confidence to get the bar spin around. Hannah, the defending champion, on their elevated catwalk as she transfers down, looking to go for this transfer back to the box jump.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note here, like, Hannah is really ticking all the boxes. She's flowing the course well, tricking everything with a massive trick like a flare right there, showing everyone that she is here to win. And she's putting together a winning run right now in my mind, Daryl.
Tail whip.
Yeah,
wow, clean to the pedals. Hannah from the United States rides at the Kitchen Skate Park in Indiana with a bar spin coming back.
10 seconds to go right now. What's she got to finish this run out?
No-hander on the quarter pipe. And that is going to be time. Wow, Steve, I didn't want to say anything because she was having her first run out there, but it's so impressive that she got her first run done. And the reason I'm saying that, Hannah's riding with a bad injury. You actually see her reaching down, touching her leg.
Yeah, so apparently Hannah's got something going on with her foot, but she is a true champion, as we just saw right there. She didn't qualify exactly where she wanted to, but she made sure she was in. She crashed her first run in qualifying in the semis and almost missed the cut. But, you know, she wasn't going to have it. She went down, spoke to Trish at the medical, and came back. And with tricks like this bar spin right here over the box jump, and then as we watch her right here go into the X up to bar spin. Now, you know, she's one of the only girls doing that. A little no-hander over the hip right here.
And then here's the tail whip right to pedals. The only rider we saw do the tail whip was Macarena Perez. She did it on the quarter pipe. Now the real story is going to be, we have two different styles out here. We have Angie Marino, who is sitting in the top spot, who wound up focusing a little more on speed, style, and air. And we had Hannah Roberts, who threw down some big tricks out on the course. We're going to see where the judges wind up placing her and how that's going to fare against Angie, who had her own unique approach. So we're almost seeing two unique voices and what the score is going to be.
Yeah, and Hannah right here, like, look at that face right now. She's probably wondering where she's at. She knows she did an amazing run. She didn't put her feet down everywhere. She stomped every single trick. As you can see, the nerves right there of the previous, or of the world champion, I should say, from last year. She's waiting for those scores, and she's probably just thinking forward. As a champion and someone that has a world title under her belt, she's probably already thinking about her next run. So this score is not really going to matter. She wants to know where she's at right now. She's put the pressure on everyone else, and we just have to wait and see what the judges think.
Yeah, it's an interesting story here because Angie Marino, who we're taking a shot at, is also riding for Team USA. And we talk so much about representing your country, so we have an 85.20, not enough to take the top spot, but still put her in the second spot. So it's going to be Angie Marino, Hannah Roberts, Nikita Ducaro, Macarena Perez, Lara Lessman are going to be your top five, but USA standing strong with the two top spots.
Yeah, and you know, that's actually exciting, Daryl, because now we have a contest on our hands. As we move into the next rider.
This is our #1 qualifier, another USA rider, Paris Benenguez.
Yeah, as Paris jumps in, doing a turn down over the spine, a big old no-hander over the box. Look at the height on her, Daryl. She heads out the 10-foot quarters, quarter to quarter, heading towards the hip with a big old can-can. Now, she's actually linking everything together right now, which is exciting for so many different reasons. She's a #1 qualifier, and she's here to say that, like, girls, I'm here to win as well.
So Paris, great wall ride with the transfer. You see that she winds up going the distance, a lot of speed. And that was huge, coast to coast with the toboggan on that quarter feature, going all the way, twisting the handlebars. That was a huge line to do halfway through the run. And she does a big X-up transfer.
It definitely was, Daryl, and she's putting it together like no one else right now. She's little one-hander over the hip right there. She heads towards the ball corners to finish out her run over the box. What's she got? Little toboggan over the box jump to finish it out.
Wow, the Colt rider throwing down a one-footer at the buzzer. That was a big run for Paris Benenguez. So we saw just prior to that, Hannah Roberts, Angie Marino, two different styles out there. And in a way, it's almost as if Paris Benenguez kind of blended the two because she threw a lot of big tricks. She also had the big transfer. She kept the lines and the smoothness. Let's break down some of the madness of her first run.
Yeah, as she hits the spine right here with a very quick turn down right now, coming down towards the money Buddha.
One thing to also note, the height on the no-hander.
Yeah, she was
so high.
Definitely up there, and that's going to play into the judges' mind. It's very reminiscent of Angie's run. She flowed the course really well. She was very high and everything. She aired out the entire hip section next to the wall, which I haven't seen any of the girls do. So that's going to play on the judges' minds a lot there too. The big old can-can on the hip.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the biggest transfers we've seen in the entire competition. The fact that she did it so high. We had Lara Lessman basically go under the coping, but to go high like that is such a difficult, increased level of that risk-reward. Because the landing is very steep that you have to wind up spotting. We talk about it being a best-run format that counts, so this could shake up the whole pack as we wait for the USA rider score to come in. Again, our 5 judges, we do have a female judge up there, Christy Hughes, Luka Kovic, Romula Noret, Brian Kaczynski, and Marcus Vilke. You can see them all up there trying to give the numeric value to the big run for Paris Benenguez.
Yeah, Team USA definitely has a pretty stacked field in this contest here today. And they are all making the girls sweat, aren't they, Daryl? They're all putting in their runs. Everyone's pulling everything right now. We haven't really seen any crashes from our top contenders. And right now, she's probably just wondering where this score is going to fit into the mix.
Yeah, it's interesting to see because Angie, our current leader, rides on the regular with Paris. They're two riders together. They actually live together in Southern California, and they really focus on BMX. So they are great friends. Not only do they both ride for Team USA, along with Hannah Roberts. You see Ryan Nyquist down there. And 86.20 is going to be the score. So it looks like Angie Marino is going to hold strong in that top spot with an 87.80. Paris is just behind her. Not even a full point difference with an 86.20. So Paris getting her run done. That, if we look at the scores again, Angie up high, USA, USA, USA with Benenguez, Roberts, Ducaro, Macarena Perez, Lara Lessman. So the score to beat is still that 87.
Which isn't much to beat, Daryl. It really is just maybe one or two small tricks added to her run, and she's going to be a first-place contender.
So right now we're going back to the top for this run 2 of 2 for our final third heat of our women freestyle riders here at the UCI Urban Cycling World Championships.
Yeah, as Teresa does a no-hander coming down the spine into the money Buddha with a big nothing, looking to just put the pressure on people right now as she heads towards the hip with a big old toboggan, headed up towards the top portion of the course right now as she hits the wall, coming down across the spine area, transferring across the box jump from the hitching post. Big old toboggan with a can-can in the quarter pipe. Now she's doing exactly what she needs to do. She's ticking all the boxes. Does a can-can over the hip. She's just rattling off the tricks. Big old no-footed can-can over the hip over there. As she got 10 seconds on the clock. What's she got for us right now, Daryl?
Let's see if she could put an exclamation point at the end of a big run. And the buzzer, and that is going to be time. So that was a big run, some highlights. She did get, as you would maybe say, a little lost at the end of the run, not able to utilize the final moments out there, but the ones that did matter throughout the entire run, that nothing was huge.
Yeah,
I know that Fids out in England right now is cheering on. That's one of his signature tricks. He always gets pumped when all of our riders do it, but to see right now women freestyle BMX getting pushed forward, that was huge out of Teresa Azcárraga. Let's look at the no-hander on the spine, and then comes down, boom, big nothing, full extension right there.
And we haven't seen any of the girls do a nothing in this contest yet. So as we watch her do a toboggan from the hitching post over to the box jump. And, you know, it's definitely a huge improvement from her first run. So we watch her do a little no-footed can-can there over the hip. And I think she's going to be happy with that run. Hopefully the score reflects how she feels about what she did, and have to just wait and see, won't we?
Yeah, Teresa is such a great rider. Again, the flow, speed, and style from her is just like on no other. And then the fact that she threw those big tricks in, that nothing was such a good highlight over the box jump. Because you come down with such speed, that box will just wind up throwing you. It's a very steep transition. It's a 6-foot-tall box jump, so basically 2 meters tall. And then you wind up having the gap to go across. But because you come down that step up, that step down box jump with the spine with the big landing ramp, it really brings you with a lot of speed and tries to catapult you up into the air across the box.
Yeah. Can we talk about a minute, just look at her jersey. What do you think of the Spanish jersey?
I think it's awesome, the fact that we have the countries represented out there, and an 84.20. So she is going to stay in that move up to that 4th spot right there. So it's going to be Marino, Benenguez, Roberts, and Azcárraga are going to be sitting. And since our last 3 riders to go still could shake up the pack, it is a best run format that counts.
Yeah, now here we have Lara Lessman, and Lara and Hannah Roberts have had a rivalry all year on the UCI World Cup Series, and she's probably here to try and make a statement after finishing 2nd in the World Cup.
Lara knows that this is such an important run right now. Let's see as she turns it on with that X up the can-can after the bar spin.
Toboggan there over the 10-foot to 10-foot, and you can see she's riding with more aggression than she did in her first run with the can-can over the entire hip area, round the bowl corner, big old seat grab over the box, into the box jump, connecting things, Daryl.
Yeah, that aggression, as you would say, or the confidence in the second run is increased as you see her throw the can-can after that foot plant.
And the foot plant to can-can on the wall ride, that was unique. We haven't seen her do that one yet. As she comes back towards the box jump, going from the hitching post across, so she's transferring, doing the no-footed can-can, which we didn't see her do last time. Doing a turn down over the hip, connecting all the hips together, which the judges love to see, with a toboggan on the next one.
These are going to be important moments here. She comes into the box. No footy can, putting the feet off, looking back, getting twisted, and that is a full run right there.
It definitely was, Daryl, and I think she's happy with that as she throws her hands in the air to let everyone know that she's excited and ecstatic about what she just did.
Wow. So I have a feeling we might see some things get shaken up here. Lara Lessman was in 7th place with the 75.20. Let's see if she can wind up breaking into the 80s, maybe even the high 80s with that bar spin so smooth on the landing. Here's a look at the X up to can-can, full extension, straight leg, spots the landing perfectly.
Yeah, and the combination tricks are what the judges are looking for. They score high on the board, and as we're watching her do right now. X up over the hip. We watch her here coming into the hitching post, doing the big old no-footed can-can. Great extension, landing smoothly as well, which everyone loves to see. Now, I saw her do that foot plant on the wall to can-can, which was pretty rad as well. So combination tricks. You know, Lara's finished amazing all year, and I'm sure she's wanting to capitalize on all of her great finishes. We watch Angie here on the sidelines and Team USA, and she's got a smile on her face, and so she should. She's sitting in first place right now, Daryl, and that's exciting stuff.
Yeah, it's almost a nail biter as you're waiting for scores to come in and see what the other riders are going to do out on the course.
Yeah, and it really is a nail biter when you're in first place, and there is nothing you can do but sit, watch, and hope.
So Lara Lessman, as we mentioned, has a big year already. First female rider to get a gold medal for BMX freestyle at the Youth Olympic Games in Buenos Aires. Would love to have a world title here at the UCI BMX Freestyle Park World Championships here in Chengdu, China.
Here's your current leader.
We have Angie, as happy as Larry, but probably just a little bit stressed on the inside as well. Look at Lara.
So Germany and USA, we're going to see where the scores will wind up sitting. Again, best run counts.
Yeah, Germany definitely has an amazing team, and Lara has been a great addition for them, and hopefully we'll get to see her at the Olympics. As the score comes in at an 84.40, so
it's going to move her into 3rd place, so it's going to be Marino, Benengues, Lessman, and Ozkawaga is going to be where our scores are at.
Yeah, now the stage is set right now, isn't it, Darryl? So we have Hannah Roberts, the defending world champion, and she's looking to, you know, bring home that world championship again for herself and for Team USA. So as she's up on the deck right now, I'm sure she has a whole range of emotions, but Hannah is an absolute dominator, a trooper. She has the tricks in her repertoire to win this thing. She just has to go out there and do it.
Yeah, and Hannah knows what to do. She has won 3 years in a row the FIS World Cup overall, and right now she has the no-hander. She did it last year here at the UCI with the double bar spin. That was a huge trick over the box jump.
And she's upped her run already as she heads towards the hip with a big no-hander.
That double bar spin was enormous. We're seeing right now Hannah Roberts just turn things up for Team USA and herself as we get 30 seconds down with 30 seconds to go.
Yeah, she does an X up there in the 10-foot quarter. Into the flare.
Yes.
The only girl out here doing the flares. Straight into a bar spin, so she's connecting things together right where she left off from her first run.
The only rider getting that tail whip over the hip right there. Wow, come on, Hannah, looking to pull, dig deep for the final 10 with the bar spin. Getting cheered on by our Chengdu crowd as final moments come in for Hannah. Doing a quick air, and that is time for Hannah Roberts, run 2 of 2. You can tell that she is excited right there.
Oh, yeah.
Not only for putting down some big tricks, but also for riding with an injury. You can see the team camaraderie as Angie Marino runs out there, jumps right on top of Hannah Roberts, showing the love and the support.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what the judges think. She definitely upped it, and then she had a couple of little dead spots in her run. You know, that's going to be in the judges' hands. It's always a tough one, you know. Like, I'd hate to be in their position and putting scores on the board, but I think Angie's feeling pretty happy right now about about her run and especially her teammate as well. The camaraderie down there from all the guys. I think Nyquist has done an amazing job preparing these girls and helping them with, you know, maybe just some tips on how to go about your contest. As we watch Hannah Roberts here doing a big old no-hander on the spine.
So many highlights in her run, but the bar spin to bar spin, that is such a big trick because you have to be committed on the second bar spin, but you don't know how the first bar spin is going to work out when you put your hands in. There is the flare. That's a backflip with the 180. The only female rider we saw do that in this competition. There was a tail whip. Only one other rider did a tail whip, 2 pedals, pulling it clean, and that was Macarena Perez. We saw Minato Oiki go for it, and unfortunately it went down. But the score to beat is an 87.80. Hannah Roberts' first run was an 85.2. She wants to go up, wants to be defending champion. It's so interesting to see because it's a different style than Angie Marino. Angie focused a lot more on speed, big airs, and having the flow out there, and Hannah took a much different approach, having the very difficult tricks such as that bar spin to bar spin. She also had the flare out there and really utilized the course in a different way.
Yeah, as we look at Caroline here on the screen, cheering on all her fellow competitors out there, and I know she's bummed she's not there, but you know, it's all about Hannah Roberts right now. As we watch the score come in at 86.30, so it's not enough to take the lead, but she's still sitting in second position, right?
Wow,
Yeah.
So Hannah not able to bump out Angie's score of an 87.80. So far, that means Angie Marino is in the top spot, but only one rider could knock her out of it. This is her USA teammate, her riding partner, and her top qualifier in our semi-finalist. This is none other than the Colt rider, Paris Benengues.
Yeah, now Paris has a huge job ahead of her as she comes down over the spine with a big old turn down, connecting it with a big old school no-hander right there. Airing out the quarter pipe with a toboggan, 10-foot to 10-foot, using the height. Look at the height, Daryl, as she does the can-can.
Yeah, the height is key. The no-hander and toboggan were both some of the highest we've seen of her so far throughout the competition. As Benengues comes back, bypassing the hitching post into the wall ride with the transfer, lands very high in the quarter pipe, building the momentum.
Whoa! Landing absolutely perfect off that toboggan.
Whoa!
Wall ride straight into the quarter, so going all the way across, doing the tire grab, a big old transfer from the hitching post across to the box jump landing, one-hander in the quarter pipe. She's doing it right now, Daryl.
Let's see, she's got 10 seconds. Come on, Paris, can you keep the speed and the momentum as she pumps around with the 360?
Big old 360. She's doing it right now, Daryl.
Wow.
Team USA.
Turning it up when it counts. Paris Benengues, Team USA indeed. That was a huge run. You see right there, giving a big hug to Ryan Nyquist. You also have Angie Marino, our current points leader before score coming in. Nina Buitrago down there. You see the camaraderie with our women freestyle riders, also with Team USA. What a big run out of Paris Benengues. You talked earlier about checking boxes. Well, for me, that run checked every single box there was out there. Not only did she have speed and style, she did lines that no other rider did, especially that transfer that was out there into the elevated part of the course with the wall ride. That was so key because she had to have the speed from the big transfer before that.
Yeah.
Let's look at the smooth styles of Benengues.
Yeah, so she does a big turn down here over the spine, coming down into the big part of the course for the box jump. We're watching here do a big old old school no-hander, stretching it out, making it look just absolutely amazing. Airing quarter to quarter with toboggan. So impressive to watch as she airs out the entire hip section. That's huge. She's going so much higher than all the girls. And then this wall ride all the way across into the quarter pipe. So impressive. So impressive. Paris just doing a great job. Now, in my mind, she topped it off with this 360, which she didn't do in her first run. And she only needed 1 point to move into the lead. That right there, Daryl, that 360, that could be the top to put her into first place. We do! Yeah, Yeah, so impressive, Daryl. It's just like I was thinking. I watched her tick every single box. She tricked everything. She landed smooth. She topped it off with the 360 in the second run, which she didn't do in her first, giving her an edge, as well as just airing out that entire hip section, doing the toboggan. It really put an emphasis on that she was here to win. Yeah, that's so exciting. I think Team USA is just ecstatic. You can see it on all of their faces as she hugged Ryan Nyquist and the rest of her teammates. Angie right now, Angie's probably just over the moon for her. She doesn't care that she got bumped off the top step. She's in second. All the girls rode amazing. They're all healthy and happy, as we like to see all of our athletes at the games.
Incredible riding from all the women out here. There is your final standings. Paris Benegas on top of that podium. Angie Marino second, Hannah Roberts third, Laura Leslie fourth, Teresa Paredes Miranda in fifth, Nikita Dugaro sixth, Macarena seventh, Elizabeth at eighth. Rounding out the top 12, Nina Butrago 9, Minako Ogi 10th, Bea Perez in 11th, and Caroline Buchanan was unfortunately hurt, will round out the top 12.
Yeah, the Aussie rider, and I think everyone's excited to see her back here for the next season. She did an amazing job only competing in 2 contests here. She qualified well. I know she had big hopes for the finals here today, but it was all about Paris today. She did an amazing job. I think everyone is just ecstatic for her, and we have a new world champion. Yeah, just the execution there on the old school no-hander, which is just, it's essential to putting big scores on the board. Transferring across the 10-foot quarter with the toboggan there, and then the toboggan hip to hip. In my mind, that trick right there helps set the stage for a win, as well as this wall ride here across the entire section, quarter to quarter from the bottom portion of the course. And then we have the 360 here. Executed so well, so smooth, and I bet she is just smiling on the inside right now, knowing that she did everything that she wanted to win.
Congratulations, what an incredible contest today.
Thank you so much.
How do you feel? I mean, wearing the rainbow jersey?
I am over the moon right now. I can't believe it. This is my first time ever riding this contest, and I come out on top with all my best friends riding with everyone. It's incredible. I can't even explain the feeling.
It was a very close contest between the 3 US riders.
Yes, and we feed off of each other, and we're very close friends, and I'm very happy to be a part of the team and to share the podium with my teammates.
How was your last run? I mean, you knew that you had to give everything.
I had to put everything I missed in my first run and just add it to my last, and I went in, put my whole heart into it, and came out on top.
And you went out first from the qualifiers. Were you so very surprised by that?
I was really surprised, honestly. They came up to me and told me that I qualified first, and I was like, what? But I'm happy about it. Yeah.
So you're the one tonight who will buy the hot pot, right?
Hot pot? No, they're buying me hot pot.
Thank you very much. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, there you have it. Some words of wisdom from Paris Benegas, our winner right there of the 2018 UCI BMX Freestyle Park World Championships.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal day here, wasn't it, here in Chengdu, China, Daryl? The girls just put on an absolute display of excellence, and I couldn't be more proud of them myself as a BMXer.
Yeah, right now we're taking a look at our competition field. We still have a full day of BMX coming our way. We are going to have the elite men's. But right now we are getting ready to also take a look at some of the best action that we've seen all day, as we are taking a look at Nina Butrago and Caroline Buchanan, 2 pioneers in women's BMX freestyle. Nina has been doing it for the United States. Caroline for Australia. Again, it's so unfortunate that she wound up getting hurt just before the competition. I really look forward to following Caroline Buchanan's not only BMX freestyle career, she's been a world champion in all other disciplines, from BMX racing, from mountain biking, but this is kicking off our points series race as we work towards 2020 Olympics in Tokyo. That said, there are only going to be 9 riders who will be riding in men and women's in Tokyo. It is going to be an intense points battle, and 2 of the competitions that mean the most for it are our UCI BMX Freestyle Park World Championships right here in Chengdu, and also are going to be in the same place next year. Those are 2 of the largest events, along with our 6 best World Cup events. Those are going to be taking place throughout the year. And then we have different level events from national, continental championships, and these other events, which are local C1 events. I know it's a lot of information, but if you go on to UCI.org, the website has all the info to break it down. Also, if you'd like to go and come to any of the events cheering on the riders, or if you are a rider yourself and would like to join the action and how to participate, there's all links up on the site where you could see about getting a membership, how you can ride, and you could get involved. If this is your first time ever seeing BMX freestyle, you can wind up joining the party. But let's check in with Angie Marino and hear a few words from Angie.
You had to settle for second place, but that was a very, very close contest today.
Thank you. Yeah, I rode 7th today, or 6th, and my second run stood all the way till Paris, so it was really nerve-wracking.
And we have 3 U.S. riders on the podium. That's something, a kind of added bonus.
Yeah, it's amazing to have USA on the top spot for all 3.
Were you a bit afraid? I mean, you said you were nervous, but seeing the 2 others, Hannah and Paris, after you, how was your mental at that time?
I was just really excited to see them ride, and it was really nice that they made it out alive, that we all made it out alive for the most part. So it's always really exciting to see my teammates ride and kill it.
Last year you finished 3rd. You improved 1 place this year. That's something, I guess, very, very very positive for you.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I recently tore my knee a couple of months ago, so I really stuck to therapy and really wanted to get podium for this weekend.
How was the crowd around? I mean, you enjoyed it, the atmosphere here in Chengdu?
The atmosphere is amazing. All the people supporting us got loud for us, got excited, so it was really cool.
Next question, and very last, Tokyo in sight. That must be a great incentive for you guys.
Wait, what?
Tokyo 2020.
2020?
Yeah, that must be a great incentive for you.
Oh, it's amazing. Since BMX has gotten announced to the Olympics for us, there's been such a big step up for girls with progression, sponsors, federations. It's been a really big positive impact for us.
Well done. Thank you very much, Angie. Take care. Thank you.
Well, yeah, there you have it from Angie Marino right there, Steve.
Yeah, she did a great job there with her interview, and I think she speaks for all the girls when they say they're proud.
Well, let's take a look at some of the highlights that we had from our women's competition out here at the UCI BMX Freestyle Park World Championships as we're looking at Angie Marino on course.
The big old X up there on the hip, and Angie did just a phenomenal job this weekend. Cruised the course so well, so much height. You can see the smile there on her face. She gives us a little peace sign just saying how stoked she was with everything that happened today.
Yeah, Angie, great style. Let's take a look again. You see USA 1, 2, and 3, but top honors goes to the teammate of Paris Benenguez, 93 even, huge score, followed by Angie Marino, who we just heard some words of wisdom with that 87, and then in 3rd is Hannah Roberts with an 86.3. So it is going to be a clean sweep for Team USA on that podium, 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, it definitely was, Darryl.
So we're taking a look at some of our fans here in Chengdu as they cheer on. There is Paris Benenguez coming out through some of the sparklers, almost getting caught up.
Yeah, I think as we watch here with the little half cap on the box jump. Yeah, the faces of all these women here this weekend just speak for itself, just saying how excited they were and how much they love China.
Yeah, right now we're looking at some of the highlights. Macarena Perez unfortunately going down. Nina Buitrago with that double peg. There is a look at Angie Marino, again, our 2nd place podium finisher. Nina Buitrago, the pioneer of women's BMX freestyle. We got Minato Oiki going for that backflip. Ooh.
Oh, looping out right there. That was a rough one.
We have Russia being represented by Elizaveta Posadsky. And here is a look at the tire grab to tabletop from Japan's Minata Oiki. We are just looking at the highlights. Steve, I got to tell you, I loved seeing all the different styles represented out here. The fact that we had 12 different women and each one of them had a different style, and some throwing down the big tricks like that 540 attempt by Nikita Ducaro. Such a hard trick, one of the hardest we saw in the competition. Got to give her props going for that.
Yeah, I think every single one of these girls is pushing the progression right now in this sport, and it is just, it's incredible to watch. And the future is bright for every single one of these ladies, and I know that they are all pushing to try and make the 2020 Olympics. That's the end goal. As we look at Hannah right here, Hannah, our previous world champion, and I think it's exciting that we have a new world champion. It pushes things, it makes the girls go home and think about what they need to do to maybe get up on the top spot as a new world champion and wear that yellow jersey.
Yeah, that jersey, the rainbow jersey, since 1927 has been passed out to different cyclists in different disciplines. Last year was the inaugural year that we had our UCI Urban Cycling World Championships. Hannah Roberts got the jersey last year. She was defending that title, and now it's going to wind up passing to this woman right here, Team USA rider, none other than Paris Benenguez. Well, that was quite an event for our UCI Urban Cycling World Championships with our UCI BMX Freestyle Park World Championships final going down. Big honors to Paris Benenguez for taking top honors. My name is Daryl Now, lifetime BMX rider from Brooklyn, New York. It was an honor to be joined in the booth by none other than BMX superstar Steve McCann. Until next time, we will see you then.
Congratulations, Nikita. And the first question is, why do you choose to compete for Switzerland?